I have personally had several of those come in moments with God. I remember my first, you know, altercation, verbal altercation, verbal dispute, verbal concern with the universe about my lot in life. I would never forget, I was working for Little Caesars. That's the first job I ever had when I think I was like 17 or 18 years old. We were making $3.35 minimum wage. And I really hated that job. And I had given it my all. I mean, everything. And I was actually, I was a cashier. I was making pizzas. Now, I was supposed to just like help, prepare the pizzas in the background. But my manager at the time, Dave, he was, I'm Capricorn workaholic here. And he was kind of like, not that, I don't want to say like not taking the job seriously, but if you got a workaholic person who is just willing to do anything and just want to just, I want to be useful. You know what I mean? So I was actually opening and closing the store by myself. He had given me the combination to the safe that was in the store, in the ground, in the back, child. And I was working my butt off on Sunday mornings. He let me open by myself. Now, I'm not getting paid assistant manager money. I'm not getting paid anything, extra. I'm getting paid $3.35, but I have always, like, even when I was on break, I remember I would get in trouble because I was supposed to be on break, because when things slow down, he would say, well, you want to get people off the clock, right? Because the store isn't making money. But I would still wash dishes. And he would say, you're not supposed to be working. I said, but I'm just standing here. It's driving me crazy. He said, yeah, but it's going to get busy in a little bit. Just chill out. But I wouldn't chill out. I would still sweep. I would still wash the dishes, because I just didn't want to just do nothing. And then I remember, when he was doing this paperwork one night, we had been slammed. I said, let me help you. And he was like, well, no. But then he showed me how to do it. And then I started like, opening the store, closing the store. I'm still making $3.35. I'm still supposed to be just the person making the pizza. And I was doing everything that, I was running Little Caesars. And I remember one day, oh my God, that, his name was Dave. He called me into work. He said, I think it's about to get busy. We're about to get a rush. And so, I was supposed to go on a date with my boyfriend at the time. I'll never forget this. And I said, he was on his way. I said, I can't go because my job just called me, and I need to get in right away. So I rushed, and I put on my Little Caesars uniform, and I rushed down there. And then after I get there, he says, oh, Cassandra, I don't need you. Tore me completely up. Y'all don't even understand. Oh, that tore me. It tore me up because I was giving so much of myself to the job, just I was giving it 200%. And yeah, so I was walking home, and I was crying my little butt off, y'all, walking down the street. I was just like, God, why? Because I hated school too, by the way, at that time. I was like, I had been skipping, I skipped through high school pretty much. Anyway, so I'm walking down the street like, I hate school. I have no talent. Like, why didn't you give me talent, God? Like, I can't sing, I can't dance, I can't do anything. I was like, why would you make me like this? Why would you put so much inside of me and not give me an outlet to express it? I mean, listen, guys, I was 17 years old, breaking down, crying like a baby. Like, on the way home, just like mad at God. I was like, why would you do this to me? Why would you put all this inside of me if it has nowhere to go, right? I always been a little drama queen. And it hurt me because I'm like, look, dude, I'm your right hand man. I work for free. How dare you tell me you don't need me, right? So I decided, and my daddy is like, stop crying, mama. And I'm just bawling my little heart out. And so I decided to look for another job. Like, that did it for me. That was, you don't, like, I was hurt because I'm just like, you send somebody else home, but you don't send me home. Not me. Because I'm the one who's like opening and closing this store for you by myself. Dude, no. So anyway, I started looking for another job. That was my first job, guys. And I went for a job interview. I'm getting emotional. For a Sears, I think it was a portrait studio. Like, remember when you used to go to the mall or to like Montgomery Wards? Oh, it was Montgomery Wards. And you know how they have where you could have those keys made in Montgomery Wards? Oh my goodness. Yes. It was so, anyway. So I gone to Fairlane Mall and I had interviewed to work in the keys and engraving shop, because of what had happened with at Little Caesars. And anyway, during the interview, I was supposed to just be a cashier, but guess what happened? You know what happened? They said, we want you to be a manager, because I was like, I know how to open and close the store, and I was telling them about opening and closing the store at Little Caesars, and they were like, you know how to open and close the store? I'm like 18 years old, guys. I'm like, yeah, I'm taking them through the process, the paperwork, how I, the whole everything. They said, oh no, we want you to be a manager, not we don't want you to be a cashier, we want you to be a manager. And I thought, what? Me, I'm only 18 years old. That was the only job I ever had. And they were just like, no, we want you to be a manager. So I want you to interview with our district manager. And so I came home and I told my dad, I said, Daddy, they want me to be a manager. My daddy said, Mama, ain't no way they want you to be a manager. You're only 18 years old. They just trying to, it's that affirmative action mess they got going on where they just want to check some boxes off. Don't get your feelings hurt, believing that this is going to happen. You think you're going to go from down to your first job from Little Caesars, making pieces, and they're going to make you a manager? He said, Mama, he said, don't get your feelings hurt. And so, but I was like, anyway, I had a second interview, and my dad was like, this is probably a second or third interview, but just to make the story short, my dad refused to take me. He said, because my father, let's put it in perspective, guys. My father was born in 1911, and he would, he saw everything. He would show us the posts where they would hang people and all of this kind of stuff. And Harriet Tubman actually died in 1913, and my dad was born in 1911. You understand what I'm saying? So my father had seen a lot, and he said, Mama, I just don't want to see you get hurt. He said, they're just filling your head. They're just filling your head, because it was going to be a increase in pay too. I was going from $3.35 to, I think it was like $8.50 an hour. That was a big deal. It's like I'm doubling, almost tripling my pay. And my dad was like, I don't want to see you get hurt, Mama. And so he refused to take me to the second interview. So I asked somebody else, and I think it was my boyfriend at the time's dad. I paid him to take me all the way out. It was to Oakland Mall, which was a good distance away, and to interview with the district manager. And anyway, long story short, I got the job. So when I came home and I told my dad I got the job, my daddy cried. He was like, oh, Mama, with your good hand. He just couldn't believe it. he had been, my daddy had, he was spiritually poor because he had been disappointed so much, right? Y'all, I don't believe in messing up makeup. Get it together, Cassandra. He had been disappointed by people. He didn't trust people. He had stopped believing. You know what I'm saying? And I just remember when my daddy was crying. I said, Daddy, but you told me I can be anything. Like, I just, in my mind, I'm thinking, how you gonna punk out on me now? You know what I'm saying? And he just didn't want to see me get hurt. But he was spiritually poor because he had been beat down by life. But I felt rich because he told me I could do anything. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that was a long story. Let me get on with this. So anyway, that was one of my, my moments with God. But I had given if I had not given everything to my Little Caesars job, I gave it everything, then I wouldn't have been so devastated, right? I wouldn't have been so hurt. But giving it everything gave me a skill set to open and close the store. So when I went for my next job, even though I was going for a cashier, I was actually elevated. I was elevated because I had given my all. So I guess I want to tell you guys, it's so important to always, give your all. I don't know if that makes sense. That just kind of surprised me. Anyway, another sign that you're spiritually poor is if you have never truly given somebody support or help, and you couldn't really afford it. I know this sounds crazy, but I don't believe that you should, give people your lunch money. Or I'm not saying be an overgiver, right? Because that's just, some people are just have that to the bone. But if you have never given somebody something that you really needed, maybe it was your food or your last dollar or something that you really needed, but you felt they needed it more at the moment, you are spiritually poor. You are spiritually poor. I'm going to hold you on this one. I have done that. I remember there was a lady. I know this is crazy, guys, but I'm just being honest. So there was an older black woman who was delivering pizza to my building, and she was lost because she needed to take the pizza to another building. And she said, well, I'm looking for this building, but I can't find it. She said, do you know where such and such a building is? And my earring is falling out. And I looked and I said, oh, it's over. I was giving her directions to where to find, the building. And she was delivering pizza. It was like really like 100 degrees outside. And she looked like she was like an elderly person. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I walked in the house. I was about to walk in, and I had like $100 bills that I would keep for emergencies. It was the only money I had. But something inside of me said to give that money to her. So I chased this woman down on the sidewalk, and I'm just like, hey, even though she's not delivering pizza to me, sorry about this. And I give her $100, and she said, why? She was just like, why are you giving this to me? I said, God told me to give this to you. I said, I don't know why I'm giving it to you either. I would love to take credit though, but this is not coming from me, babe. This is coming straight up from something bigger than both of us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just remember I never thought for 1 second, oh, this is my last money. Where am I going to get, I don't get paid until such and such date, or where am I going to get money from? I felt like $1 trillion giving her my last money because I felt like she needed it more than me. Like, is that weird? And of course she cried, and I was just like, and I wasn't worried, and I was taken care of. I never thought about it again up until I was making this video. Another sign that you are spiritually poor. No, I'm sorry. I think that's it. That's my list. So, when you are spiritually rich, you are able to take the blessings and the lessons of adversity with grace because you understand that you are evolving and growing as a spiritual being. Like you know, you're not caught up. Like even if you get your heart broken, or even if you give your all and it doesn't work out, there is still, you know, you still have a faith in humanity. You still have trust in other people. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I would love to hear some of your comments in the comment box below about whether or not you feel you are spiritually rich or spiritually poor based on some of the things. And if you have some other areas where you think a person is spiritually poor, please jot them down. Now I want to tell you what my Juju doll said about this. She gave me a channel message. Your back is your turn, darling. And I want to kind of read it so that I don't so that I'm not confused, because I get really confused sometimes when I'm trying to remember what they said. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get you in focus, mama. All right. She said, people who make, some of it I could just tell you. She says, a lot of times when people make money early in life and they want to keep what they have, they become spiritually poor because every decision they make is one of fear. It's like, I just want to play it safe. And when you start playing it safe is when you stop risking, you know, you don't want to take any risk. You don't want to do anything new. You just want to, you feel like, I'm good. I'm going to stay right here. Get back. Don't touch me. I'm safe, right? So she's saying that, you know, an actor, now this is what was interesting to me. She says an actor sometimes can forget that they are playing a role and that there is more to life than what they are currently experiencing. So basically she's saying that when a person is spiritually poor, they are, I don't want to use the word grounded because grounded is a good word, but they are stuck in their current reality and they can't see themselves expanding beyond their current situation because they fear losing themselves. So she's saying that every time you fall in love, you lose a little bit of yourself. Every time you expand, you gain a new part or a new identity, not a new completely identity, but you gain something, but you also lose something. This was so profound to me. That's true. Like every time you go through something, you are not the person who originally experienced whatever it was, but because of the new information and new experiences. So people who are spiritually poor, they don't want to give up anything they have. It's like hoarding reality. I know that sounds weird, but they're hoarding reality. They fear losing themselves. They fear losing their identity. So they don't want to make any changes. They don't want to trust anybody. It's like, it's too risky. It's too risky to lose what I have. I'm not going to give up what I have to try to gain anything more. So she's saying that, like when actors sometimes have, like for example, they play a role and they get stuck in that role and then they can't get another role. That's a good way to look at it. Like they can't find another job. They've been typecasted in their life, so to speak. Like, well, I always see myself, you know, working at the gas station, and I can't see myself as an engineer, or I can't see myself as anything else. So they're stuck in a in a script or in a role, and they're too afraid to reach outside of that role because of all of the things. Like maybe like one, what was coming to me was, she was saying like, it's not that you don't want to be a cashier or at the gas station anymore, or a gas station attendant. What it is that everybody there love you. The people come in and they're like, hey, Mr. Johnson, and they recognize you and they love you, and the people at the company love you even though you're only making $2 an hour, you haven't received a raise, but you are so afraid of losing all of the things around you. It's close to your house, you get to walk to work, yeah, money is tight, but you get to get the donut from across the street, those type of things. So sometimes they're afraid that if I expand, if I grow, then I'm gonna lose. I may not make any more friends, or my next boss may not like me, or the customers may not like me. So they don't realize. So when somebody is saying, oh, this is just the way it is, it's just my lot, but they're complaining about their job, or they may be complaining about their life, but they're afraid to grow because they are afraid of what they may lose. So they're spiritually poor. So they are afraid of losing their identity, of losing their concept of self. Every time you immerse yourself into a new experience, you leave a piece of your old self behind. They are afraid of getting lost in an unknown reality where they have no control. The script and knowing what is going to happen next make a person who is spiritually poor feel safe. When you are spiritually rich, you are connected to your external nature and all that is. And when you are spiritually rich, you are connected to your external nature and all that is in the universe. She said, that you are going to be all right. That you don't have to remain in one place, and that you'll make new friends because you're a part of something bigger than this whatever environment that you're in, if that makes sense. She said that the vastness of the universe scares some people, and this is why they are afraid of changing jobs, trying new foods, traveling the world. They have to feel comfortable. This is what she was saying. They have to feel comfortable trying new things first. So this is some of the suggestions. Like she was saying, if you find a person who's spiritually poor, trying to get them to start really small, like maybe trying new foods, trying a new route home, things that are safe, like not big changes at first because it's really overwhelming for them. Now, but the thing that was really interesting to me that she said is that the reason that some people are spiritually poor, and this is really interesting to me, guys, I know I keep saying it, is they've come from, in previous lifetimes or even this lifetime, they have come from royalty or extreme wealth, or where you have to disconnect from your emotions in order to survive. You can't afford emotions. You can't afford to love the wrong person who take all your money. Right? You're not just gonna go to divorce court and they get half the house. Now they gonna get you can't afford to allow yourself to fall in love with somebody who may tell secrets that could destroy your dynasty or your empire. You can't. Do you understand what she's saying? She's saying that people who are from royalty, or who are world leaders in previous lifetimes or even now, they learn early that your emotions can cost you everything. Love is not, you cannot afford to fall in love because love is costly. You may cost us everything. So everything is calculated. Everything has to be based on, a sense of exchange. If we, develop a relationship with this person, How is this going to impact our dynasty? How are people going to perceive us? What if this doesn't work out? They can't afford these type of risks, right? And then also she was saying that people who have a military background, people who've experienced a lot of losses, they learn you don't become attached, because there's just nobody knows who's next, right? So you learn not to trust anybody. You learn not to have any expectations. For whatever it makes them feel better to say, well, this is the destiny. I was born to be a soldier, as opposed to I should have gone. Maybe I should have gone to law school, or I should have, been a dentist or whatever. So people who have either in previous lifetimes have been in extremely dangerous situations where there's a lot of losses, and being detached from your emotions was necessary for survival. These are people who in this lifetime are spiritually poor. They can't afford the emotions that we're talking about: being in love, having faith, believing in yourself, believing in something bigger than you. They don't have time for that. And she said, typically in order for people who have experienced this to evolve, it happens later in life, where like maybe they go through a divorce or a breakup, and they don't realize that they really love that person until years after that person is gone, and they break down, and they realize it because when they were in it, they just didn't. It was the way she explained to me was, think of it as emotional drano. Like sometimes in order for a person who is spiritually poor to be able to connect to their emotions so that they are spiritually rich, they need emotional drano, which would usually be some type of breakup later in life, when they have retired or when they've calmed down and they say, oh my God, oh Jesus, I think I love that person. And now they're in a safe place where they can experience that pain that will prepare them for the next lifetime, so that they will be able to connect to another human. Thank you, Mama. So anyway, guys, I know this video was pretty long and chatty and all over the place, but anyway, I really hope this video helps someone. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you darlings in the next video.